Believe it or not, it's April 1st and I'm already on my first river trip of this season. I'm out here today with my buddy Max and we're going to be paddling a section of the Dumoine River, a river I've wanted to paddle for a long time. It is the third sister of the three sisters I've paddled in the past, the Noir and the Coulonge, a couple of times. So I'm excited to be on new ground and I'm excited to have old faithful Socrates with me, the vessel I chose for this expedition. There's a lot of unknown to this trip. It's so early in the season. I don't even know if anyone's ever done the Dumoine River this early. A few hours ago, Max and I met up and we drove up this road that we didn't know the quality of the road, how it was gonna go. We managed pretty well, so that was good. Then now we're on the water and we don't really know what lies ahead of us. The water is not extremely high at this point. It's probably a June level height of water, but there might be ice sheet that we're gonna have to worry about. There might be some ice that we're gonna have to cross. The weather might be challenging. Obviously the water is very cold. So lots of unknown we're gonna have to figure out. And of course the water is deadly cold at this time of the year, so we're gonna have to be extremely careful. As excited as I am, I'm also a little nervous because it's gonna be the first rapids of the year, and to do it in such cold water and far away from any help, that adds to a little bit of the nervous feeling I have, but I'm sure we're gonna have a good time, so let's get on with it.
After 5 months off river, Max and I couldn't stop ourselves from paddling upriver and line up the little class 1 above our put-in just to enjoy a little bit of moving water before we headed to camp.
I'll just adjust to the rock.
We made it to our first camp for this trip, a beautiful, nice open area here on an island. For this trip, I decided to bring back my hammock because I haven't hammock camped since last fall, actually. And I'm excited to hang again because, well, you know how it goes. I sleep so much better in a hammock than on the ground, so I'm excited to sleep in the hammock tonight.
Hammock camping has completely changed my relationship with camping. I've always loved being out, but dreaded the sleep. Learning to pitch a hammock can certainly be a bit tricky at first, but the extra hassle for me is well worth it. I can sleep through the night now without waking up with numb arms and a sore back.
I may have set it up a little low, but at the same time, you don't want to fall from high if you're going to fall. Tonight I'm trying out a new quilt I just got from Thermarest, the Vesper -6°C. So I've been really impressed with the Thermarest line of sleeping bags and quilts, to be quite honest. So I'm going to be putting it to the test tonight because it's supposed to get down to 0 -2. The comfort range for this quilt is right at 0. So I'll be able to give it a really good test tonight to see if the the range is accurate or not. Okay, let's give it a try now. See how well I've set up the hammock. Oh, I've missed you. Oh yeah.
Hopefully it's good to burn.
There we go. I can hold it if you want to finish it. You want to use this? Is that easier? Might be. There we go. I was not convinced we were going to be able to drive up here.
Yeah.
It was hard to tell from the intel we got.
This wood is just the gift that keeps on giving. It saws so hard, and now it's like all our clothes is gonna have holes in it.
Nothing like duct tape.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a particularly sparky wood.
Oh yeah. Luckily, I got my finest clothes on.
Tabasco sauce. Spicy. Let's go. I'll treat you to something nice tomorrow. I'll make you a nice dinner tomorrow.
Don't feel guilty at all. Just feel a little bit guilty just for a second, and then enjoy your damn sandwich, okay? This is what happens. Like, this is like a good example. It's a metaphor in life of like the people who work hard in life, right? You know, invest in the future, and the people who don't. Yeah, it looks really good. You have the cheese buns with the pickles. Ooh, good choice.
Last night was a chilly one. The thermometer dropped to -6 degrees Celsius, and for a long part of the night, because the water even froze right up to shore.
Good morning. I was quite surprised at the quality of that quilt yesterday. Thermarest has really surprised me at the accuracy of their comfort rating on their sleeping bags and quilts, as I've said before. And again, last night I was pleasantly surprised. Probably hit around -2, and it's a comfort of 0 and a limit of -7. And believe it or not, I was just in the pocket there. So yeah, for a quilt that packs this small, it's very impressive. So now we're sitting by the fire. We were hoping to get an early start this morning to the day. We had this idealistic thought of leaving the first light, but you know, spring ice out trips are cold, so we're gonna let the sun warm us up a little bit. The days are not super short, so there's plenty of time to do what we've got to do today on the water, and we're just gonna let that sun warm us up a little bit before we head out. So breakfast time. Coffee, and let me tell you, it's good to be out on the water. It's good to be out sleeping on an island. It's good to know that we'll be running some rapids later on, so I'm excited.
After spending the better part of the morning by the fire trying to stay warm, then trying to get on the ice with my canoe for the sole purpose of taking a thumbnail photo so you would click on my video, Max and I were getting antsy to get going, so we loaded up the canoes and we were on our way to our first set of rapids.
So it looks like we've got ourselves a nice little ease into the day for a whitewater here. So we set up a couple of cameras. I'm pretty excited to be out with Socrates. I think it's gonna be a perfect little run for him. Just coming into the first drop, and I can't overly see well here, so there we go. Oh yeah. That's it. Woohoo! Whoa! Very nice. Look at Max. That's it. That was a nice little first drop.
Yeah.
It was fun. That's it. That was close. Not the time to readjust the camera. Here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah. Woohoo! Okay. And of course the camera failed. Fixing the camera here almost made me miss it. It is 2:43 and we just finished the first section of rapids. We might have done, I don't know, 5 kilometers so far. Next to nothing. It's taken us a long time. We're scouting everything, but also just the filming. We're stopping and taking the time to set up cameras, and it's good to be back paddling Socrates here. We couldn't ask for a better day. April 2nd, it's got to feel like -10. The sun is beautiful out, and I feel pretty thankful right now to be here. So very, very thankful to be here. I personally like to name all of my vessels. This blue Vestige X is, I've named it Socrates, and there's an interesting story around it. As you know, my big Red Canyon boat, I named it Red Knuckles. I named it White Knuckles. And the reason why I named it White Knuckles is because I grew up whitewater kayaking on the Ottawa River between 12 to 19 years old. I was very fortunate to paddle the Ottawa River. The reason why I stopped whitewater paddling at that time when I was about 19 or 20 is because I got eaten alive by Phil's holes, and in the same day I also got tumbled and tossed around by Coliseum at the bottom. And if you don't know the rapids of the Ottawa, all you need to know is that these are massive class 3, massive class 4 holes. And I got tumbled around, and honestly, like, I just never really felt in control after these incidents, and never really felt like going back. I was scared, to be honest. So fast forward 10 years later, when I wanted to, expand my canoe tripping adventures, going from lakes and doing more rivers, I really got into the river tripping again. And my first whitewater boat that I got ended up being the Red Canyon that I named White Knuckles. And that boat got the name White Knuckles when I did the Mistassini with the kids, both the kids in the boat, and Rosie was sitting in the princess seat in the middle. And the whole trip, every time we hit big holes, she would just White Knuckles the gunnels and just kind of scream as she would get splashed by the waves. And I thought it was appropriate. And that same summer, we also did the Batiscan, Luc and I, in that boat, and we definitely white knuckled our way through down that river as the water was so big. So when I got this little whitewater expedition, solo expedition boat, and I was looking for a name for it, I wanted to, now that I had returned to the whitewater and just kind of white knuckled my way through it, I wanted to master whitewater more. I wanted to be able to read better and to paddle better and to not be so stressed out when I go down rapids, and to be able to compose myself. I was looking for a name that would represent wisdom, a name that would represent just being able to, the great wisdom of the river, that you could read properly, and instead of just white knuckling your way through rapids, you can finesse your way through it and just kind of hide behind an eddy here, run this line there. And I read a book when I was about 18 or 19 named Way of the Peaceful Warrior. And in that book, the main character has a mentor who he names Socrates, and for short he calls him Sock. And that's the inspiration of this boat's name. So now you know. Do you name your boat? If you do, I'd love to hear the story as to why your boat got its name in the comments below. I think naming your vessels is not only a fun thing to do, but it's also a neat way to remember perhaps a really intense memory you had with it, or to define a very specific time in your life.
The section of white water between High Falls and the Ottawa River on the Dumoine River is absolutely amazing. Nothing too crazy, fairly all easy lines, but super fun. What a great start to the season.
Oh yeah! Getting pretty late in the day, about 4:35, and I would say we have about 6 more kilometers to go. We've been taking our sweet time down this river because it's been such a beautiful day to enjoy. Probably about an hour and a half we'll get to camp. We'll be rolling in late, but I prefer spending my time on the river anyway, so.
This was a pretty unique day on river to be out so early in the season and experience a plus 10 degrees Celsius day with full sun. And to top it all off, after a long day of paddling, we came up to a beautiful campsite.
We've got the picturesque view back here. Beautiful, beautiful falls. If you've ever wondered why I keep my life jacket for so long when I get to camp, it's because it's the best way to stay warm. And I typically like to stay in kind of my wet stuff or my paddling stuff until I'm done setting up camp. And that moment is now. So let's take all this off and put some nice warm clothes on. Sending a message home as well for the inReach, saying that we're at camp and everything is good. Oh. Oh. Certainly one of the challenging things, or one of the things that are a bit annoying when you have to wear a dry suit, is the gasket around the neck all day long. But luckily enough, level 6 came up with a new kind of dry suit, more for paddling adventurers. And I'm going to be getting my hands on that, I think, in the next couple of weeks. So I'm pretty excited to test it out and see if it's a lot more comfortable and see how it fares in cold water. So ready it up. Hit it.
After seeing Max eating his burnt steel cut oats for breakfast and his ration pack for dinner last night, I couldn't help but to share the wealth and enjoy a good meal on trail with him. Oh, and by the way, fondue is a great first date meal. Now I know you'll think of me on your next date. Sorry, but you're welcome.
The hot dog?
Mm-hmm. There's one big obstacle left tomorrow that we're not quite sure how it's going to play out, and it depends on the weather. It's probably going to be, it's supposed to rain, so we're going to try to head out as early as possible, but crossing the Ottawa River at the end of the Dumoine can be a bit of a challenge if the wind is up and we have white caps, because it is a large section of the Ottawa. I think it's about 2 kilometers wide at the widest there. We can navigate up and down and make that a little smaller, obviously, but we're gonna play that by ear tomorrow and see where it takes us. So good night, folks. Ah, that was hot.
Slick. Smooth.
Smooth. The last day. We lost a wiener. Sacrificial wiener. Throw another one in there. Trail mix. Final morning of the trip here. We've got about 4 kilometers to hit the Ottawa River and then a massive 1 to 2 kilometer crossing, certainly a crossing where you do not want to swim. We're just gonna have to get out there and see it.
I used to fear the rain so much more when I was younger, but now, after having spent so many days on trip in the rain, day in, day out, I really don't fear it anymore. And the one thing you learn about spending days out in the rain is that the Canadian wilderness is absolutely beautiful on those rainy days.
It's in these wet and rainy and cold conditions where the hood of the dry suit comes in nice and handy. If you're a canoeist and you're looking to buy a dry suit, this is the Fjord dry suit from level 6. It's been working out really well for me. And when it's super rainy, the hood just comes in real handy. So something to keep in mind. If you're a kayaker and you roll a lot, you're gonna hate the hood. So something to also keep in mind. But man, I know dry suits are expensive. They'll run you from $1,000 to $1,500 a pop. But if you take good care of it and you get, 3-4 outings a year with it, they'll last you 20 years. And they really open up your opportunities to enjoy the backcountry and shoulder seasons. Otherwise, without a dry suit like this, I wouldn't be able to be here in April because it would be way too dangerous. So. There are definite whitecaps out there. And the wind, we're still protected here in the opening of the Dumoine, and the wind is still, the wind is right, we get it like head front, like right facing at us. So those are definite whitecaps out there. And considering how much there are, oh, they're going to be significant for sure. Not too sure how this last little bit's going to go because it's, I'm already pretty cold from being on the water for a couple of days, for a couple of hours already. And even though we have dry suits, swimming out there is still deadly. You'll buy yourself a little bit of time with this for rescue, but whatever we do, we're gonna have to be very, very thoughtful about how we cross.
This is a little nerve-wracking. Big water paddling is not the most fun, first off, and second, certainly has the most consequences if ever things go south. So I've got my inReach on me, I've got my cell phone on me, I've got my ditch kit here, so some survival item close by. If one of us swims, the plan is to let go of our gear and head to shore as fast as possible. We're going to be paddling together as well, obviously. And if one of us goes this way, we can just kind of hang on to the boat and paddle as fast as possible to shore while we're kicking at the back, because we can't really take another person in the boat. It wouldn't be safe at all. So let's do it. This is one of those things where you want to go home, so you're kind of willing to push it a little differently.
You always got to be careful when you have that homeward drive.
Yeah, when you can smell the barn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thoughts that go into making this decision. First off, Max and I certainly had the paddling skills to navigate this type of situation. Second, it is because we had stable solo boats that we could take the waves head on the way we had to. Had we have been in a tandem boat, because of the weight at the bow of the boat, we would have slowly filled up with water after hitting any waves, and once you're full enough, now you're screwed. A solo boat can absorb much bigger waves without filling up. Third, we had a plan. We stuck together and we made sure we were good throughout the way. This is certainly a high-risk situation that I do not advise anyone to take lightly. Make sure you're well trained and your skills are up to par if you're going to take higher risk when you're out on your trips. There's no time for ego in these moments, because that shit absolutely kills.
Woo! We did it!
That was a little bit spicier than I wanted.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it got quiet real fast. No time for talking, it's time to focus. Wow. We made it to the end. A little chilly.
Getting a little warm.
Getting a little warm. Finally made it to the end, crossed the Ottawa River in one piece without swimming, so we're pretty happy. I'm super...
That's a win.
That is a win. How was it for you?
It was good. Just stayed relaxed. It
Yeah.
was just at the edge of being too much.
Correct.
Or too much without stressing out. But it was definitely a situation where you just needed to kind of put your head down and focus.
Right in the pocket, right?
Right in the pocket. It was a good way to end the trip.
We're just going to be packing up and heading home. It was super good to come out with Max. Go check out his channel as well. I'll leave the link in the description below. I'm super thankful to be out here once again for the earliest ice out camping trip I've ever done. This is pretty insane to be out here on April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd to run the Dumoine River. What a beautiful, beautiful place. And we got lucky with the weather yesterday.
We got really lucky with
Yeah.
the whole time, actually. It was nice to have the rain as well.
Yeah, it gives variety.
Yeah, it
but
gives variety, yeah.
anyways, folks, if you made it this far, you know it. You're part of the True Fan Clubs. Not the Only Fans Club, the True Fan Club. I really appreciate
That's a
it.
different channel.
Yeah, that's a different channel. I really appreciate you guys watching right till the end. I'm really, really thankful. So we'll catch you guys on the next one.